What are we doing to make our homes more energy efficient?
So we're doing lots. We're doing PV, air source heat pumps, but for me, it's the things you can't see.
Do you want to start by giving ourselves some little intros?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Matt, I'm the sales director for the Lancashire region.
And I'm Gareth, I'm Senior Design Manager for Cheshire, North Wales.
Fabulous. So I think today we're going to talk about a topic that's very high on the agenda at the moment, which is energy efficiency and sustainability. So what do we mean by energy efficiency when we're talking about new homes?
I think we're talking about, how much energy we're actually using to predominantly heat the home. As a customer, what they're using to generate that heat, whether it be gas boilers, air source heat pumps, a lot of the things we'll probably touch on. But yeah, it's the energy that we're using to heat the home.
Fab. Okay, so as a brand, obviously we do a lot and our product is our key selling point, but what are we doing from energy efficiency terms to make sure we are, meeting the future standards, basically?
This is you again.
I think you're probably looking at a couple of factors. You're looking at the fabric of the building, so your floors, your walls, your roof, the insulation properties of all those elements. And then you're looking at the heating elements. How are you heating that home? Are you with a gas boiler that is, energy efficient gas boiler, A plus rated, along with PV solar panels, which is one option that we're using across a few sites. Or are you heating that home through an air source heat pump? They're kind of the two options that we're looking at. So it's the fabric and the heating element of the property.
I think we obviously have to build to the latest standards, yeah. but also Anwyl as a business does always push that a little bit further. When we've got certain developments that are building beyond today's standards, if you like, and it's kind of future-proofing our homes and building to that next standard, developments like Haywood with air source heat pumps, solar panels, so that we're always kind of constantly pushing a little bit, ultimately to help our customers with their energy bills. I mean, for me, energy efficiency as a customer, and working in my discipline, it's about saving customers money. Ultimately, that's what people want these days with the cost of living. With mortgage rates as they are, people are seeing where they can kind of cut back, and owning a new home is one of those ways. And
I think probably what just touched on some of the stuff there, but also EPCs customers seem to be a little bit more aware of now. Yeah. What kind of elements are affecting that? Some of the things you've mentioned, I assume.
Yeah, well, EPCs, prior to the changes in the recent building regs, I think it's fair to say, all our properties were kind of an EPC rating B. With the change that we've just had, we've looked at the fabric of the building as well as, like Matt touched on, whether we're using PV solar panels or air source heat pumps, but you're seeing a change in that EPC rating from a B to predominantly A's now. Yeah. Especially when you're using an air source heat pump. Yeah. You've got that in place. You're pretty much you're an A.
Yeah. With solar panels,
which is, we're doing it to meet building regulations because that's what's put in place. But ultimately, to the end user, our customer, that's saving in energy bills.
Yeah, we have customers asking about it. Because when you're looking on Rightmove at second-hand properties and they've got the predicted EPCs, and you see the E's and the D's, I think just some people who are kind of clued up on that, they know that that's money. And those people come into our sales offices and ask us the question what we are, and as you say, we're a B or better is what we say. Quite often we kind of get to that A mark as well, but we're a B or better, and that is literally pound, shilling and pence in people's pocket. So you're right, customers are picking up on it a hell of a lot, and more so I would say in the last 18 months than I've known previously. And
obviously some of these technologies people will have heard of, like air source heat pumps and solar panels, but what does it actually affect and how does it sort of work in the home to make it more energy efficient?
Yeah, we've been saying PV a bit, so that's solar panels.
Yeah, so PV, photovoltaic solar panels effectively, so generating electric from daylight. It's not just in the blaring sunshine. It's, from daylight. So you've got PV on your roof most days, as long as it's not dark, cloudy all day, you're going to be generating good amounts of electric for use in your home.
Yeah. There's a fundamental point about it being daylight, because again, my discipline customers come in and say, PV panels, it's fine if I lived in Spain, but I live in Haywood or wherever it might be. But it's daylight, isn't it?
It doesn't have to be a hot day.
Can you just tell us a little bit about how PV solar panels work?
Yeah. So basically we'll have, depending on your property and orientation and the lights, you'll have a certain array of solar panels on your roofs that are generating electricity from daylight, and that generates electricity for use in the home. So it's key for customers to be using appliances such as washing machines, dishwashers, during the daytime when that electric's available, or at weekends, and looking at different electric tariffs as well that are available to customers. Technology is still advancing, so in future you could be looking at battery storage, so generating the electric, storing it, and you're getting into kind of smart home territory, where you're connecting your electric vehicle up, and there's talk about being able to use the car as almost a battery source as well.
Thing is as well, people are working from home these days. Yeah. So, the people are using that electricity throughout the day. They've got the laptops, they have got their electric cars being charged as well. Yeah. So
the heating's on, it's just a lot more working from home, isn't there? So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And solar panels can feed into air source heat pumps as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
They can, yeah. So I think the figures are about, for every, I think it's kilowatt of energy that you generate from your solar panels, you will get about 3.5 kilowatts out of your air source heat pump. So if you're feeding that in, you're generating 3 times more electric effectively.
Which is great for customers.
Great for customers.
So for those who might not know, how does an air source heat pump work?
Okay, so we've all got effectively an air source heat pump in our homes already, in our fridges. So an air source heat pump works just like a fridge, but in reverse. So it's positioned in the rear garden, and it draws heat from the outside air, even at really low temperatures. And then it compresses that air into a gas, and then coupled with a hot water cylinder that will be in a cylinder cupboard in the property, it's heating hot water that way.
And as we've already touched on, obviously, energy efficient homes are bringing your bills down. What are the figures kind of looking like on that point now?
Yeah, so the latest HBF report, the Water Save report, said that it was £2,200 a year, or just over £183.33 per month, which is a lot of money. You knock that off your mortgage and it makes a huge difference. Knock that off your bills, of course, it makes a huge difference. So they're the latest figures. I think there's quite a lot of stats actually in that report about new homes being on average 55% more efficient than the second-hand equivalents, and there's all sorts of stats on bringing second-hand properties up to new home standards.
Well, that's a big thing, isn't it? Existing housing stock, when you're talking heat loss and how energy efficient they are, the existing housing stock is more an issue from looking at climate issues. So from what we're building and customers, end user, so much more energy efficient, much cheaper bills.
Yeah, I mean, I always think with these kind of stats on bringing a second-hand property up to the new build standard, you can of course put figures to it, but actually the reality of ripping the fabric of your home apart to try and make it like a new build,
retrofitting some of these things like air source heat pumps that run at lower temperatures, so you need bigger pipe work. There's a lot of factors that go into doing something like that. It's not an easy.
I mean, quite literally, we talk about the fabric of the home. It's underfloor insulation, isn't it?
We're up the underfloor insulation. Cavity walls have got wider. Roof insulation's got deeper. So you're losing very little heat. Out of a modern home now. You know, even down to, you know, all our properties are now going to be air leakage tested. So every plot has to meet a target in terms of air leakage from the property, which, you know, when you're talking, you know, heat your home, how much heat are you going to actually lose through that fabric? And it's very minimal now. And that's why you've seen the introduction of Part O into the building regs, which is overheating. So we've gone that far in getting the fabric of the home so energy efficient and retaining heat. It's come to the point where we've had to assess the houses in terms of overheating. How come on a hot day, how can we cool the house?
Yeah, so it's not too hot.
Yeah. So that's kind of the level that we've got to.
Which is an unbelievable concept given, I mean, I live in a property that's over 100 years old, and there's absolutely no danger, no matter what time of year it is, of overheating. So yeah, it's unbelievable. Really.
Always slippers on.
Oh yeah, this time of year as well. Hot water bottle.
Yeah, and I mean, are there any other sort of material changes or more subtle changes we've made for energy efficiency reasons, would you say, in the last year or so?
I think the main ones are the fabric of the building. There's even the likes of wastewater heat recovery, you know, that are linked to your shower, so that you're preheating incoming mains water, so you're not using as much energy to warm up the water when you're having a shower. So there's a lot of different technologies kind of out there that we're using. So
we in the sales department, we probably don't do a good enough job actually in terms of educating our customers on everything that does go into it. The reason being, it's great having this conversation with you because you know literally all of these minute details. But I think the message that we try to get across to our customers is it is like everything that we put into your property has been considered from this perspective. And you're right, it is really high on the agenda when you're looking at design and when you're thinking about the end user. You know, energy efficiency is right up there. It's just one of, if not the number one question from our customers right now. So it's one of, if not the number one thing that we consider in the planning stage, isn't it?
Yeah, and like touched on there, that end user kind of education, I suppose, is something that's going to have to be picked up on because, you know, not everybody's had PV solar panels, or, you know, very few of us will have ever used an air source heat pump. You know, we're running heating systems on much lower temperatures now, so your boiler's not working as hard, so you've got bigger pipe work and things like that. So whereas before you press boost on your thermostat controller, and before you know it, your radiators are red hot, those temperatures are going to be cooler now.
But more constant.
So customers will expect to kind of run a more constant heating solution. Like air source heat pumps, they're designed to run constantly at a lower temperature.
Yeah, education is huge. And I think there's misconceptions as well. You know, when we're talking about things like air source heat pumps, you know, again, quite often what I hear is people saying, well, they're more expensive to run, which is not the reality.
No. Yeah.
And I think from a customer perspective, it's worth touching on the fact that obviously these homes are energy efficient, but what does that mean for investors and people who might be looking for buy-to-let opportunities? Because these are obviously a great option for those people who don't want to bring their rental properties up to that EPC standard. Yeah,
well, it's good from a landlord's perspective. It's going to attract more tenants for sure, because again, it's, you know, renting or owning your home, you're looking for the most economical way of doing that. So it's definitely going to help attract tenants, but also new tenancies from 2025, landlords are required to have a minimum EPC rating of C. Obviously, we surpassed that, but that's going to be a requirement of 2025, and then existing tenancies, it's by 2028. So again, that kind of retrofitting, landlords are going to have to either consider that or perhaps look at kind of shifting their portfolio to new build properties, which is likely the route that many people will take. Yeah, and obviously another advantage with energy efficient homes and new homes like ours is that customers can benefit from green mortgages as well. So products that wouldn't be otherwise available to them, which can mean that they can A, get a mortgage, or B, get a better rate than what they would have otherwise.
And they're based on EPC ratings.
Correct.
Yeah. What are some of the benefits of our properties for a buy-to-let or an investor?
Yeah. So definitely the yields that you can get across our developments, but also I think like our customers who go on to live in the properties, they're done. You just need to move your stuff in or move your tenants and their stuff in. So, buying new from a landlord perspective or an investor perspective has always been something that's really attractive. But as I say, with the change in regulations with regards to EPCs and what's expected of landlords, then, I expect it probably will become more appealing. But also I think, landlords sometimes get a bit of stick in the press and, in my view, wrongly, because I know a few people who do this and do it with new build properties, and they provide really good quality homes to the tenants. And what they get in turn is loyal tenants who stay and who pay, and that's ultimately what they're after.
Yeah. And I think something we mentioned earlier, but for people who are into, buying renovation properties and things like that, it's not always just about energy efficiency. It can just be about the aesthetic of a home. So obviously we have options there as well in terms of getting it how they want it to be. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. So there's the benefit. One of the main benefits of buying new build properties, you can customize it, and you can make your own tiling choices and your kitchen choices, and our customers love that. And it's one of the most exciting parts of that process for them, I think. But yeah, equally, landlords, there's no kind of risk of buying a second-hand property that's in a great area with a great yield, but a pink kitchen. Then they can't get any tenants.
You're really into pink.
Well, we've done blue, we're doing green, maybe pink's next, I don't know. But yeah, a landlord will benefit from all of these things, and in turn be passing that on to their tenants as well.
Yeah, definitely. So let's say 2 or 3 years, maybe more down the line, what other kind of tech are we looking at for energy efficiency purposes?
So yeah, with Future Home Standard 2025 is the push for all house builders, really. That's when we're going to see gas boilers, be removed as an option. There's talk of hydrogen boilers, but they're probably a little bit off yet. They're not quite there. So air source heat pumps predominantly, going to be the go-to. PV solar panels will still be there as an option.
I saw that there's on Grand Designs that PV panels now you can get them that are actually like a window, like a Velux window, and they're transparent entirely.
Well, yeah, you can get PV tiles now. They look like a roof tile, laid in same pattern as roof tiles, but are actually, PV panels, so generating electric that way.
So there's lots of advancements still to come, really.
There's a lot more out there. Yeah, definitely.
And from a sustainability perspective then, is there anything, as a wider brand, you feel we'll be doing maybe in the next 2 to 5 years that will make us a greener company? Obviously, we've gone paperless where we can.
We have got a couple of sites, you've got Hayward, we've got a site in Chorlton that we're looking at. They're going to have air source heat pumps, so we are doing that as a business. But yeah, you're going to see that fully change over.
Yeah, I mean, the nature of what we do is obviously we have such a large supply chain, and it is a consideration when we're looking at who's going to be providing our kitchens or who's going to be providing our flooring. What credentials do they have, and how eco-conscious are they? And I'm really proud that actually, there's a lot of companies that we work with, a lot of materials that come into our product, into our properties, and they do share the same values. The commercial team, when they are procuring, do consider that as well. So yeah, it's important to us. It's important to our buyers as well. We have eco-conscious buyers, and as much as I will naturally talk about people can save money, there's a lot of people out there who think, yeah, that's great. And of course it's great. But their kind of main motive is the fact that they, helping do their little bit towards helping the planet as well. Yeah. So, yeah.
We're seeing it on our developments with, biodiversity, open spaces, wildflower meadows, all these elements of, ecology, people are interested in that as well. And, that's a big change coming in the future.
I think that's worth mentioning. Obviously, we talk about energy efficiency, but sustainability or developments are sustainable communities at the end of the day. They're made for, living in long term, basically. And we do have all these green spaces.
Yeah.
Even looking at locations of our sites as well,
Yeah.
Transport networks, things like that.
Yeah.
The big key considerations for potential customers, aren't they?
Car charging points.
Yeah.
Yeah, majority of our properties now come with car charging points as standard.
Yeah, that's another change in building regs. Part S brought in, so now we're fitting car chargers on every plot.
How many parts are there?
There are a lot of parts to the building regs.
The whole alphabet.
A lot of parts. But floss is the change. FLO and S.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it floss?
That's what the change is.
Floss.
Floss.
I like that. So for customers wanting to know about energy efficiency, what's their next best steps, would you say? Come in and chat?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's always a good place to start on our websites, but there's no substitute for getting into our sales offices. As you said, we've gone paperless now, and we've got all the fantastic equipment around us today that customers can come and experience. On some developments, we've got the Futurium technology, and as I say, there's no substitute for coming in and speaking to a sales advisor and just having a chat and asking questions, because there's things that you'll be able to kind of find out by doing your research. But actually, I mean, even me sitting here today and having this conversation with Gareth, I'm learning things about what goes into our properties. So yeah, for me, there's so much to know, and it's such a big decision, buying a property, buying your new home. Coming and speak to sales advisors would always be my advice.
Well, thank you very much, both.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.